First turn it on.
Now dump it in.
Yeah.
Lexi, look, Lexi.
If you're here for baking inspiration, this is probably not your video. But if you're here to be inspired that you're not alone in your struggles,
Sad bread.
well, this might be your video. For the past however many months, I've just been so busy with my nose to the grindstone trying to get Mama Java, our coffee brand, up and launched, that I've just let all the little things go, like fresh homemade bread. I've been trying to get into baking bread more often for my family, and it hasn't happened nearly like I wish it would have. So today we are going to fill this house with the fresh aroma of baked bread. I like to grind my own wheats, and eventually I want to get more into sourdough. I haven't gotten started into that yet. But today we're going to make fresh homemade bread. And guess who's walking? Hey, this little girlie, are you walking?
Yup, she definitely is.
Big baby. So I have the Mock Mill 200 from Nutrimil, I believe it is. And then I also have a Bosch mixer, which is really nice for kneading bread. I have such good memories of the smell of fresh baked bread when I was younger in my mom's kitchen, and she would always mill her own wheat as well. And I just remember that sound and the smells, and I want to create that for my own children. I'm not naturally one that just loves to be in the kitchen, so I'm trying to hone in on that and just try to force myself to do more of this. It's a good feeling to do it, but I don't naturally crave it. So I do want to make a nice atmosphere for my children, but I tend to put this kind of stuff on the back shelf. Ready to roll.
Now should I dump it in?
First turn it on.
Now dump it in.
It's the little things that make a difference. It's the little things that show love. It's the little things. A simple cup of water that can change the world, that can save our sons and daughters. Oh, save our sons and daughters.
Once we're done baking bread, I want to talk a little bit about bringing Jesus into your everyday life. And just some things I've been kind of pondering and rolling around in my mind, and that has been inspiring me as well. So I'm going to share that with you later, but we are still working, and it's getting loud. Just a really quick interruption. I know you've all heard of Native before, or you should have, and I'm so honored to be sponsored by them today. Besides their products being clean, simple, and effective, I love the scent options that they give you. With all the fragrances I've tried, I have a hard time picking a favorite. I love them all. So I have aloe and green tea, sweet peach and nectar, cucumber and mint, lavender and rose, jasmine and cedar. This is probably my least favorite. I had gotten this from my husband, but out of all these other scents, I've had a really hard time picking a favorite, but if I had to, I think I would go with the cucumber and mint. It's like just really fresh and soft. I just love the scent. So I've been using their deodorants for a long time now, and I love that the ingredients are aluminum free and paraben free, and when you're applying, it's not sticky and it feels dry. Their body wash is made with plant-based cleansers, and it's residue free, and it leaves your skin feeling like silky smooth, also while smelling amazing. They also have the deodorant and body spray if you like this type of deodorant better. It's powered by air, making it easy to apply, and it doubles as an all-over fragrance spray. Last of all, they didn't ask me to talk about this, but I do love their lotions as well. This is the cucumber mint, one of my favorite scents. It just leaves my skin feeling so soft and fresh. They also have a limited edition Fall Escape collection with featured scents such as vanilla and cactus flower, sage and sweet citrus, and more. I love Native products, and they are staples in my house. So if you haven't tried them already, I hope you do. You can get your bestsellers pack today, normally $36, but if you use my link and code Mennonite Mom, you can get your deodorant, body wash, and deodorant and body spray all for only $24. That's 33% off, so go check it out. I highly recommend Native. Love their products so much. I thought I would come out here and show you my flower bed since it's been a while. It has bushed out, not as much as I had wanted it to. My petunias are more the bushy kind, and they just sort of grew up instead of out. My black-eyed Susan vines just took over the two I planted. Next year when I plant again, I'm gonna have to go with a little bit more colors in mind. I went rather sporadic, and the colors aren't exactly super coordinating, but I think it's pretty. And we let the sunflowers grow around our bird feeder. So yeah, it kind of has a wild, pretty look, but it's not like super put together, I guess I should say.
6 cups warm water. 1/4 cup potato flakes. 3 tablespoons of instant yeast. 1/2 cup of honey. 3 tablespoons of wheat gluten.
Do it. There we go.
Can I do 3 tablespoons sunflower recipe? Lexi, look. Dumpity dum dum.
You can tell by the look on her face, I don't do this a whole lot. She's completely mesmerized.
1.5 teaspoons of salt.
Tablespoons.
Tablespoons.
3/4 a cup of butter.
Bombs away!
The bread's going to rise for about 25-30 minutes. I don't think I added enough flour. My mom always says, this is her recipe, just add until it gets to such and such consistency. Grandma just says dump until this happens, so we dump until that happens. And I'm one that likes numbers, like just tell me exactly what to do. So I was kind of guessing and I thought it was about the right amount, but it's a little bit like too sticky, and I should have had more flour in it.
Does it like peel off?
Cool. I didn't add enough flour. Anyway, but we'll see how it turns out. I just need to make this often enough so I get to understand what my mom means by a certain consistency.
Is that okay though?
We'll figure it out.
I hope it'll be good.
All right, while my bread is rising, let's just have a little bit of a chat. I thought I'd talk about bringing God into the everyday and just some of the little mantras. Is it called mantras? The little things I like to try to live by. Right now I am drinking our Papua New Guinea single origin coffee. It's more of a brighter coffee with like citrusy notes, chocolatey notes, but it's really good. So the other day, Nolan was talking to me. He's going through the book of Acts, and he was like, you know, there's so much in the Bible that we don't think about, that people just live normal everyday lives. We see basically the Bible's highlight reel, like all the crazy stories, the major miracles that happened, trials they went through. We look at Paul's ministry and we think, well, he was constantly traveling from one city to the next. But he actually had a lot of everyday normal life in between. And it says how he was in Ephesus, I believe, for 3 years, building the church there. He wanted to not rely on anyone else to support him, so he supported himself by making tents. So you think about all the work that he put into just making tents. And we don't hear about that. He had normal everyday life, just like we all have. I also think about Jesus. He was, 30 years old before he started his ministry? And I've often wondered, what did he do for those 30 years? I know he had a huge influence on his community, but he was a carpenter and he worked with his dad, and who knows what, it'd just be so much fun to know. But we only hear about 3 years of his life, and that's what we focus on. My thought is, there is so much everyday normal life that happens, and it's okay, and it's good. And I think it's a good thing to remember that. I know for me, sometimes, like as a mom, you're so just, every day is the same, and you have the grind, and you're like, am I even making a difference? I like that thought about how the everyday was happening to everyone. We just don't read all the in-between stories in the Bible. With the everyday, worship is a part of your everyday life. It's not just about Sunday mornings, you get together at God's house. God is with us everywhere, bringing him into our everyday, talking to him. Ask myself, how often have I made myself still and quiet to listen to God's voice and speak to him? And when I do that, there's just so much peace in prayer, and you can pray while you're working, you can pray in little moments throughout the day. When I do things like that, it just makes a world of a difference in my life. I know this is not new, but nature speaks of God. God's fingerprints are all over nature. Beauty of nature for one, but also the intricate design and the mastermind behind how everything works, the ecosystem, how everything relies on each other. I just stand in awe. I love being out in nature. It's just a way that you can bring your children into it as well. There's so many ways you can point to God through his creation. I just desperately realize my desperate need of God and my sheer humanity. And parenting has really brought this to light. And I just realized that in me, I have no power to raise them into being good, decent human beings. Like, I am just so frail and human, and I I mess up again and again and again and again. And I know no one is perfect. There's no perfect parent. We live in a culture that basically tells you, oh, you're doing such a good job. Don't let anyone else tell you what to do. Your truth is your truth. No, I am human. I am desperately in need of God and a Savior to help me out of this humanity that just wants everything about self and me and my things, even though you want what's best for your children. So often in this everyday normal life, just things crop up. If you're low in sleep, you've been asked too many questions, someone's sick, you've been up all night, they're constantly hanging on you, and just maybe they're constantly fighting. And one time I prayed, I'm like, Lord, I snap so quickly when I get to the end of my patience tank. I'm going to make a deal with you, and if I have enough strength to at least want help in the heat of the moment when I just want to yell and just let my children know what all they're doing wrong and how they're making me upset, which is completely wrong. It's humiliating, but let's be real, we all face that, surely. At least people with my temperament do. And I was praying, I'm like, Lord, if I have the strength to want to ask for help, and I ask for help, if I simply pray, help me, in the heat of the moment, then that is when I need your power to come through immediately, because I cannot do it on my own. And I have been trying to do that, and it helps. If I can just cry out and say, help me, Lord, right in that moment, he comes through. But it's that wanting to as well, and sometimes we just, Anyway, so parenting has humbled me in many ways, and I thought I used to know how to raise children. I realize now I have no answers. The more time goes on, the less answers you have about parenting. But I come back to a few things. This all ties into with your everyday and kind of bringing Jesus into the everyday and trying to teach your children these things. So one thing that has stood out to me in this whole wrestling is I can't figure everything out. I have to lean on God's strength, but I also have to bring my children into that and acknowledge, ask for forgiveness, but then also pray with them. Say, you know what, I messed up. I hurt you. I'm really sorry. And I need to ask God to help me to overcome this, my frustration. And, let's pray together. It's an humbling thing to do with your child, to ask God to forgive you for something you did to them and to help you to do better so that you don't hurt them in the future. It was a book I read. It's called Parenting. I think it's Paul David Tripp, that he talks about. It is when we rely on God's grace every day, instead of trying to put up this picture perfect front that we have it all figured out and they better listen to us because we're the parent, and they of course do, but not this attitude of just because I'm the parent and I have everything figured out and you can't, never say sorry. But if they see you acknowledge your humanity and come to God and ask for forgiveness, and they see you wrestle through that daily, you're actually teaching them how to deal with their own imperfections and their own humanity and how to deal with that. And that was something that very much encouraged me, because I'm like, if I can just deal with my humanity by coming to God every time I mess up and bringing my children along through that. That is something I've been really relying on and just leaning into in my whole parenting journey. The importance of loving other people and not being gossips and slanderers and just nitpicking apart what everyone else is doing wrong. It's so often the families that have embraced this everyday normal life and bringing God into the everyday through their actions, through their attitudes, through how they treat others, how they serve others, that those are the children that often grow up to be so well-balanced and serving God. And it just inspires me. I have seen families that are so consumed with finding the right church or the right group of people, or, no one is ever doing anything right. This church is just, nobody is, is on fire for God, and they're always finding something wrong with the people they're associating with. There are definitely times where you have to cut ties and find a new place to go, but I'm speaking more of almost an obsession with it, where people are looking for something. They're looking for the perfect group of people. They're looking for the perfect church. They're looking for the perfect everything. And somehow they've envisioned that the perfect Christians live in this perfect bubble. And if we would just all find this perfect balance of the Christian life, then everything would just be perfect. And there's nothing like that. There's nothing like that. We have this everyday life. We all battle with humanity. We're always on the scale where we're like victorious and we're struggling, and it's back and forth, and we all need each other to encourage each other on. So what I'm saying is I've seen people and families like that from my younger years, whenever, and they're constantly unsettled, the parents, constantly downing other people or how their people are living their life or whatever, very judgmental, very they're not at peace with life, it doesn't seem. They're always seeking and searching and thinking that there's more and they have to do this and this and this. And oftentimes it's valid points, but there's something about the attitude that just doesn't feel quite right. And so often those children get upset later when they get older, and they just throw everything to the wind because the little things, the little everyday things that really matter, loving each other, caring for each other, even if people aren't perfect, if people are struggling, those are the ones we have to reach. We don't run them under the bus. We reach out and help. And I struggle with this. I know I have failed in this so many times, but it's in the living out of that our children see. And I just think it's very important that we don't allow gossip and slander in our homes. And I don't care. Yeah, I'm very passionate about that. And another thing I'm very passionate about is being thankful and grateful for the things that we have. The importance of thankfulness and gratitude in myself and in my children, complaining in children and in myself, and I catch myself doing this, especially about circumstances. But, you know, we have so many gifts, so many things to be thankful for. And to hear someone complain, by the way, my mom was super hard on this. Like, if you complained about stuff, she was very quick to set you straight, which is probably where I got this. But she always said complaining is like a slap in God's face. And if he gives you a gift, and you can't even see the beautiful gift that you have, and you're complaining about the things you don't have, or you wish that this was different, it truly is not the kind of the heart you want in yourself and in your children. And I have been around people with so little, such horrible health issues, like everything feels like it's against them, circumstances in life, whatever, and they have such a beautiful attitude of thankfulness and still praising God and through some of the hardest situations in their life that I can't speak to because I've never experienced that much. But I know it's possible by seeing their lives, and they're amazing people to be around. And then there's the people that have so much, and all they can do is complain and gripe and be upset and point at other people, and it's just, which camp do we want to be in? There's two camps and we can choose. And I just come back when I'm grappling with this thing of just feeling my humanity as a parent, which is a good thing. I think it makes us realize how much more we need God. But I just come back to, I'm not going to parent perfectly. I'm going to make mistakes. My children probably need therapy. Don't get me started on that. What? I come back to a lot of these simple truths. Like, can I just admit my weakness with them, pray to God, show them how I try to work through my weaknesses so that they can learn how to reach out for help, God's help in their life, and deal with their own problems instead of trying to portray myself as a perfect parent with all the answers. Also, just cultivate gratitude, and that's always a constant thing. There's so much grumbling that goes on with children, tell you what. But cultivating gratitude, thankfulness, and my son is starting school this year. So we're going to have to start working too on the thing about talking about others and downing others. If that happens, I'm sure it'll start coming up more. So those kinds of things, and just being appreciative of the life you have and serving other people, I think is some of the foundations, and it comes down to simple, everyday life, every single day, bringing Jesus into your day through these little things, pointing back to him, versus like thinking that, you know, I have to do this big, huge whatever to make sure my children catch the vision. Anyway, so I hope this little rambling talk here was inspirational to you. I know it wasn't really concise, but it's kind of a couple different like loose bunny trails that I was trying to bring together that all kind of connected but yet didn't. What do they say? It's okay to go down a bunny trail as long as you catch the bunny, right? Anyway, I need to go check on the bread. I hope you all have a blessed day, and we'll see you guys in the next video. But let's go check the bread. I am so sad. My bread is a flop. It completely went flat. I just knew that I did not get enough flour in that bread when I was doing it. I should have just redid it, added more flour. But I'm committed to showing you all real life, the everyday. I'm still learning this whole bread baking thing, so today was a flop, I think. Okay, look at these sad.
Yep, they're sad already.
Oh no, they flopped.
Of course.
Of course. Xander was pretty sad, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All 6 loaves. My goodness.
Just like I'm 6.
Yep.
Look at that. Sad bread.
Oh man.
Every town
Smells so good though.
has its ups and downs.
Just a doughy mess.
Sometimes
I
the
don't have a taste. Ooh, haha.
outnumber the downs.
Wow. That's
Not
gooder.
and not ain't
I thought it was gonna be all creepy and mushy, but it's kind of mushy, but.
Here, let's try another batch.
No, I want to eat
It'll
them.
make you sick. It's all doughy. Okay, I could not have that, so we did another batch. So we're redoing this batch, but lo and behold, I forgot to put honey in. Can't win today, but hopefully it's still good. The consistency looks like bread should look.
Ooh, it did.
Lexi, does it look yummy? Does it?
It looks.
Is it bread?
Yeah.
This is definitely not my day for baking. These are flat again. They definitely look a lot better, but they're not rising nicely. I wonder if my yeast is bad or if I'm just not doing something right. It's been a while since I made these. Like I said, I've been so busy with coffee and I'm just a beginner bread maker. So you can let me know in the comments what you think I'm doing wrong. I need to have my mom over. She needs to help me and show me what I'm doing, but once again, they're not rising like they should be. Hopefully my grain is okay. I had it sitting for a while. Shouldn't make a difference. What else could I have done wrong? The yeast was making it rise. I don't know what's going on. I was pretty sure I had enough. I had like 10 to 12 cups of flour for this recipe, but they're still just, they're not right. I've done this before. I made beautiful loaves of bread. What is going on today? What is going on? I know I'm a beginner baker at all this, but it's just driving me nuts. Doesn't look like I'm gonna be the next sourdough queen anytime soon. Bread making, sourdough loving. So discouraging. I was wanting to have a whole bunch of fresh, delicious loaves of bread to put in the freezer for my family, and they're just flat. A flop. I'll cut into them here soon, but man, oh well. Welcome to my life. We ain't conquering bread today. No, we ain't. I haven't tried any of the bread, but they're actually all saying it's fairly decent, so I might just actually hang on to it, and then I'll have Mom over when I'm planning to do my next batch and see if we can't figure out why it's flopping. But
Maybe it's.
did you like it?
Mm-hmm.
Shall we hang on to it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it's because Mom just flips them over and they're just all flat.
Oh, really?
Okay.
You think I can score a point? Scored a point. I'm gonna score another point.
Lexi, is it good?
Scored another point.